The flagship smartphone market is fiercely competitive, with big players like Apple and Samsung battling it out year on year for that top spot. Now, there's a new player. This is OPPO's Find X8 Pro, and it's not just here to spectate, it's here to take the title. A flagship through and through, it has a quad camera system boasting some of the best cameras I've ever used on a smartphone. Excellent performance with the new MediaTek Dimensity 9400 chipset, a brilliant battery with super fast charging times, innovative AI features, and a whole lot more. It truly brings a lot to the table. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, so we're going to go through and see how it measures up to the competition. And if you like what you see and you want to see more tech reviews, more news, more random tech stories, consider subscribing. It helps me out loads. Anyway, this is the Find X8 Pro. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Tech Shed. I'll start with the price because it definitely sets the Find X8 Pro apart. Now, in most countries, it only comes in one configuration, 512GB of internal storage and 16GB of RAM. Here's some prices from around the world. As you can see, it is most certainly a premium device, and it most certainly comes with that high premium price. Apologies, any US viewers, the Find X8 Pro will not be sold in the United States. Now, it's not until you start comparing it to its most direct competitors, I'm talking the iPhone 16 Pro and the Samsung S24 Ultra, that you realize how good a price this actually is. Here's a comparison. Now, all of these have the same amount of internal storage, 512GB, but what you'll immediately notice is the Find X8 Pro offers more RAM at a lower price. It's a major win for OPPO, and if I was looking to get a new Android device, it would kind of push it above the S24 Ultra for me. And if you're finally thinking of getting out of that Apple ecosystem, this is a very good option for a cheaper price. Onto the design. Now, the first thing you'll notice with the X8 Pro is the camera bump, guaranteed. OPPO calls this the Cosmos ring, and you'll either love it or you'll hate it. I'm not a massive fan. I prefer my camera bumps to be a little bit more subtle, a little bit more sleek, and at least try to blend into the back of the phone. That's definitely not the case here. It's massive, it's circular, and it has a chrome finish that makes it stand out. Now, of course, that's going to come down to personal preference, and to be fair, the reason it's so big is because it has some of the best cameras I've ever used inside, and I'm one of these people that can sacrifice looks for functionality. Once I saw the quality of the photos it could take, I no longer cared about what it looked like. This is a large device, about the same size as any flagship, and it has some weight to it, but it's light enough that it's comfortable to hold for long periods. It has an aluminium frame, a Gorilla Glass 7i display, and a glass panel back. Now, what I did notice is that because of the large camera array, it does feel a little bit top heavy. Not a deal breaker. It comes in two colors, pearl white and space black. This is obviously the pearl white version, and again, like before, it's going to come down to personal preference, but this isn't my thing. I prefer just one base color. This has a sort of seashell theme or look to it, and it's interesting, but as I say, just not my thing. In regards to durability, it has an IP68 and an IP69 resistance rating. This means it will resist dust and sand, it can go in water up to 1.5 meters for up to 30 minutes, and it will survive high-powered, high-pressure water jets for some reason. Basically, you can take this anywhere and not have to worry about it. On the side, there's also a touch-sensitive strip. That's used for a range of different things. You can double tap it to directly open the camera app, you can hold it down to take some burst photos, you can slide up and down to zoom in the camera and zoom it out. But I didn't like it. It was nowhere near as responsive as I wanted it to be, and I found using the controls on the display significantly easier. After I tested it, I never used it again. The display is a 6.78-inch AMOLED 2780 by 1264 resolution screen. It has fantastic color reproduction, it's smooth, it's good for gaming, it's good for watching videos, it's exactly what you'd expect in a flagship device. It has an adaptive refresh rate that can go as high as 120Hz and as low as 1Hz. This will change the refresh rate automatically depending on what you're doing in order to save battery. But there's nothing really here that sets it apart other than the peak brightness, which is 4500 nits. That's pretty damn high when you compare it to the iPhone 16 Pro, which has a peak brightness of 2000 nits. You can definitely use this in direct sunlight and you'll be able to see everything, but to be fair, it's not really groundbreaking. It feels the same as any other flagship. Don't get me wrong, it's very, very good, but it just doesn't really bring anything new to the table. On to the cameras. Now, the cameras are the very best feature of the Find X8 Pro, and it sets it apart from its competitors. OPPO has packed it with a quad camera system that allows you to take brilliant photos in almost any situation. Here's the specs of the 4 lenses. I'm not going to try and remember all of that. Now, if all these numbers don't really mean anything to you, all you need to know is you'll be able to take really good photos with this phone, including zoomed photography. That's because of the 2 telephoto lenses. There's a medium range zoomed lens, the 3x, and a lens for longer distances, the 6x. They combine to create highly detailed, crisp and clear zoomed photos. Now, the reason they can do that is because they're relying on hardware, the actual physical lenses, than software to enhance and crop the image to get that zoomed shot. The results are impressive, very impressive. I was amazed, I was blown away in fact, by how much detail I could get when I was standing a good 30, 40, even 50 meters away from my subject. Here's some photos I took. Now, unfortunately, they might not look as good as I see on the phone. That's due to YouTube's compression, but hopefully it gives you an idea of the capabilities of the Find X8 Pro. Now, you can zoom beyond that 6x, you can zoom up to 120 times. However, when you do that, quality will suffer. That's because every time you go over 6x zoom, the phone requires software to predict and enhance pixels and colors. The further you zoom, the worse it looks because it's no longer just relying on hardware. If you want crisp, clean, clear zoomed photos, you're better off staying at that 6x zoom level. Now, I know it can be tricky taking zoomed photos, but the good news is both telephoto lenses support optical image stabilization, so your phone will be steady even if your hands aren't. What's great about this is it extends to video as well. Now, you can record video at up to 4K 60 frames per second with this phone, and optical image stabilization will kick in when you zoom for a video as well. Now, don't expect miracles. You can't be jumping up and down and the horizon is going to stay perfectly level, but it definitely helps when taking zoomed videos. There are other features here as well, like lightning snap, which allows you to take a burst of photos at 7 frames per second, great for movement, live photo support, and a 32 megapixel selfie camera, which works well as well. Portrait photography is another strength. You can choose between different focal lengths depending on the background, so you can keep your subject in focus even if you have a busy area behind, and then change the focal length if you want to get a little bit closer. It just works well. It's just a brilliant phone for taking photos. I cannot stress this enough. One thing I did notice though is that it does produce oversaturated images. What I mean by that is greens will look a lot more lush, a lot more green than they do in real life. If you're looking for realism, the iPhone 16 Pro is better for that, but personally, I don't mind the oversaturated images. I think they look pretty good. Now, what good would a consumer technology product be in 2024 if it wasn't boasting about its AI capabilities? OPPO has filled the Find X8 Pro with AI tools that you can use thanks to the ColorOS 15 operating system. Some of them work okay, some of them are hit or miss, but what I did like is that they work quickly and I didn't notice any slowdowns in the device when using them. For photos, there's AI Image Enhancer, which does make photos look better. There's AI Unblur, which unblurs blurry photos. Duh. There's AI object removal, so you can remove something in the photo, and there's reflection removal. So you know those artistic photos where someone's leaning into the window, you can remove that reflection if you want. Now, don't expect miracles, as mentioned. Just, you do need quite specific circumstances for these to work well. If there's not good separation between the subject and the object, it's going to be quite hard to remove the object from that photo. If the photo is extremely blurry, you're not going to get this perfectly crisp, unblurred photo, so on and so forth. They're definitely helpful, but as I mentioned, don't expect miracles. The tools I found most helpful are what I would call productivity tools, like AI Writer, which will help you with writer's block. It will continue your writing in your voice. AI Reply, which will generate a reply to an email. Or my favorite, AI Summary, which will summarize a web page for you. Just open the sidebar, hit summarize, and you get a nice bulleted form of what it's trying to say. No more having to scroll through hundreds of ads. Brilliant. There's also more niche AI tools like AI Translate, and you can customize your photos to look like you're animated or change what it looks like. All good stuff, all works pretty well, and most importantly, works quickly. For performance, this is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 chipset, and it's a beast. It's fast, responsive, and will definitely handle anything you throw at it. To test the CPU, we ran a Geekbench 6 test, and it achieved a single core score of 2828 and a multi-core score of 8533. That's really good. To test the GPU, we ran a Wildlife Extreme 3D Mark test where it achieved an overall score of 6445 at an average frame rate of 38.6. To put that in perspective, both of those tests gave us higher results than what we got with the Samsung Tab S10 Ultra. You can catch up my review of that up there. And for real-world performance, the tests didn't lie. We were able to play PUBG for long periods without the phone overheating. The frame rates were very good, it was smooth, responsive, and we played for a long time. It was great. What I will add though is, for gaming, it's a little bit annoying holding the phone with the camera array there like that. It feels uncomfortable. So you might want to get some sort of controller or add-on or something like that. The battery is another area where the Find X8 Pro excels. It has a 5910 mAh capacity that will give you a day of moderate usage, 2 days roughly of light usage, and for heavy usage, things like gaming, you'll get around 7 to 8 hours. If you do run out of juice, the good news is it charges really quickly. It supports 80-watt wired Super VOOC charging. That does require a specific charger. Hallelujah, one comes in the box. That will get you from 0 to 100 in just under 50 minutes. It also supports 50-watt Air VOOC charging, so that's wireless. That will get you from 0 to 100 in around 90 minutes. Battery life, chef's kiss. The OPPO Find X8 Pro is a serious contender in the flagship smartphone market. It ticks all the boxes: a vibrant, responsive display, a brilliant battery with super fast charging, performance that will allow you to do anything, AI tools that enhance the phone's capabilities, and most notably, some of the best cameras on the market. Yes, the bold design might not be for everybody, but you can't deny that OPPO has delivered a premium product that most definitely goes head to head with the best in the business. So, if you're looking for something a bit different that doesn't compromise on quality, the Find X8 Pro is definitely worth considering. What's your thoughts? Is this the next flagship killer? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked that video, consider hitting the thumbs up button. And as always, if you want to see more tech reviews, news, or random tech videos, please subscribe. It helps me out loads. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one.